Guys, we are only 2 days away from playing the Chicago Bears in Soldier Field in the divisional round of the playoffs. Look, I know it's the playoffs, but I have to admit, just me personally, as this week has gone on, all the different storylines and chatter between fan bases has just got me more and more excited for this matchup. And obviously, it's only 2 days of waiting for this game, but those 2 days are going to feel like forever, so hopefully this video helps you guys pass some time. In this video, I will be covering the 5 things the LA Rams must do to be able to beat the Chicago Bears in the divisional round matchup on the road in the weather. If the Rams end up losing this game, it's likely because they didn't do one or more of these things on my list. Let me know your list down below on what you think the Rams must do to win this game. And if you're a Bears fan, let me know your list for what the Bears must do to win this game. Okay, the first thing this Rams team must do in order to beat the Chicago Bears is something that we've talked about all week. That is playing 4 quarters and finishing the game out. I don't care what you say, you look at this Bears team and how they've got to this place. They're the best team in football when it comes to coming back in games in the most unlikely, improbable scenarios, and they've done that 7 different times this year. I don't know how many games I have watched of the Bears being down in a huge hole, looking like they're just down and out, and somehow the 4th quarter starts and something just clicks. Caleb locks in, the whole team just begins to play complementary football. I don't know what it is, but we know this Rams team has very much struggled with putting teams away, closing games out this year. Look, it doesn't matter how good you start on offense or offense and defense. If you can't finish a game, it can haunt you, and that has happened to the Rams many times this season. Even in games that they've won, it's become closer than it really should have been. Do I really need to remind you guys again of that Eagles game and that Seahawks game, both being cases that were up big and then we end up letting it slip away? And in that Seahawks game, in the 4th quarter, we were up by 16 points and let the team come back and beat us. If you're up by 16 points on the Bears in the 4th quarter, don't take your foot off the gas pedal, finish the game. Otherwise, this team may end your season because of it. Some people I've seen call this Bears thing luck, that they've been able to come back in games and win it, and it is not luck. It is clearly a skill. It's something that they've preached. So you just can't let them have another one of those games where they come back and win, especially if you get a little bit of that momentum rolling at home. It could really get ugly. Okay, the second thing the LA Rams must do in order to beat the Bears at home in Soldier Field in the playoffs, just run the football. Look, I don't care if you run it 40 times in this game. It's a very similar key that I had against the Panthers last week, but I think it proves to be more important this week. Why is that? Well, obviously you have weather playing into this. You're going to have winds. You're going to have temperatures that feel like they're in the negatives this game. It's just not going to be ideal. While I think the Rams can still pass the ball in this weather, the safest route is to run the football, not only to not commit turnovers, but to wear out a defense, to keep their offense on the sidelines. And it's just demoralizing if you can run down the throat of a defense all game, especially in the playoffs. That is what can kill teams, no matter how good the opposing offense is. And when you take a look at it, the Bears defense in general is actually a very poor defense this year, but something that has elevated them has been those turnovers, and they do that better than anybody else in the NFL. Everywhere else, they are pretty porous when it comes to defense. And it's no different in the run game. They're actually the 27th run defense in the league, so this is an area I think the Rams can look to attack. That front 7 isn't all that strong for the Bears. If you use Kyren Williams, Blake Corum 40 times, I don't care. Just get out of there with the win. Keep the time possession on your side. Keep them on the sideline. Wear out that defense. And when the opportunities present itself, I trust the MVP of the league to make the throws when they're there. But don't just turn this into a passing fest when the wind is going to be what it is or when the weather is going to be what it is. Okay, the third thing the LA Rams must do in order to beat the Bears here in the playoffs is contain Caleb Williams. Easier said than done, obviously, but something that this Rams defense has struggled with, even at the best points under Chris Shula, has been containing the quarterback. Mobile quarterbacks have really given the Rams struggles, whether it be extending plays and throwing down the field or just running for that extra first down. We saw Bryce Young run for that touchdown last week too in the red zone. As good as this pass rush is, sometimes they do have a tendency to overcommit and let a quarterback outside. I think they have definitely gotten better at this, especially when I look back to that Arizona loss that we took last year early on in the season. They've definitely cleaned things up, but they definitely have not shown the consistency of containing a quarterback. And Caleb Williams is one of those guys that is going to scramble. He's going to use his legs not only to run for first downs, which can be killer, but also to extend plays and make incredible throws like we saw last week. And if the Rams are not able to contain Caleb Williams, I don't care how much pressure they're getting. Caleb Williams makes people look foolish when he's using his legs not only to run, but to extend the play. And these are back-breaking kind of plays that Williams pulls it out on, sometimes on 3rd down scenarios or scenarios where you feel like you're in a good spot on defense. He'll scramble, he'll extend the play, and he'll really kill you there. If the Rams can't contain and consistently shut down Caleb Williams with his legs, I think that it's going to be a hard time to win this game because he just has a clutch factor of when to pull them out, and and he does it very well in the NFL. Okay, my fourth key here for the LA Rams to beat the Bears in the playoffs is going to be playing turnover free. This is a key in any matchup, but particularly when we talk about the Bears defense, we already talked about it earlier. They are not a great defense. Really, just look at the rankings. They have some good players there. They've been beat up all year. They're getting players back, and that is certainly going to help. But the biggest thing this Bears defense does, and what's kind of helped patch certain things up on defense that haven't done well, is the turnovers. Whether it be forcing fumbles, whether it be getting interceptions, they just get turnovers, and that keeps the team in games. That gives them momentum if they're down and out. Just don't give them turnovers in this game. It's going to be harder with the wind. It's going to be harder with some of the elements. That's why I kind of go back to running the football again. If you can stay turnover free, or maybe just keep it at max at one turnover, I feel really good because, again, this Bears defense, as good as they've been at getting turnovers, just hasn't been great overall. Okay, my fifth and final key to stopping this Bears team, beating them at their home, and advancing to the NFC Championship game, it's going to be stopping the run on their side. Look, everybody's going to look to Colston Loveland, DJ Moore, Luther Burden, Roma Dunze, Cole Kmet, all these different weapons, but what people really don't talk about with this Bears team is how good they are just running the football. And they can do this with Kyle Monungai, more their power back, and DeAndre Swift, who is more that elusive back. They've invested in the offensive line. They brought in Joe Tooney, they brought in Drew Dahlman, they brought in Jonah Jackson, and they have Ben Johnson running the show, who does love to run the football. And the Bears ranked actually third in the NFL this season for rushing yards per game. Kind of gotten away from it in recent weeks because of the games getting away from them and them having to pass more to get back in the game. But don't forget about that Black Friday game where the Bears put up over 200 rushing yards on the Eagles defense of all defenses, and they did this consistently throughout the year. They've been able to run the football. It's just a matter if they commit to it, and I expect the Bears to really commit to running the football in this game with the elements that are going to be what they are. And the Bears are a top 10 team in time of possession, so that really would hurt the Rams if the Bears are able to run the ball, stay unpredictable, hog the time of possession, wear out your defense, and just limit the opportunities on offense. So the Rams must stop this run game. While they don't always do it and commit to it, this is a game that I think the Bears are actually going to try to establish and commit to early on. And if you can't stop it, good luck winning this game. So those are my 5 most important things that the Rams must do in order to beat the Bears on Sunday. I can't wait for this game. I am so hyped up for it. The right to advance to the NFC Championship game. What's your thoughts down below? What's the score prediction? What are your most important things? Let me know. As always, though, have a great day, guys. Horns up and God bless.